We left off in Reish Chav Tes in the Maharal, when Maharal said, one of the problems why Torah is being forgotten, and people aren't proficient in Torah any longer, they don't study properly, and they only use the text of the Gemara only as a means to enter into an intellectual dialogue, to sharpen their minds. And whether it's seeking truth or not, it's irrelevant. It's the process. It's the process. So he explained that the process has a negative consequence, because if a person at least seeks truth and you want to come upon truth, so there what you're conditioning yourself is you have a chance to come upon truth. But here where the truth is irrelevant and all it is purely to sharpen the mind for the intellectual process, if that's the case, these people have no relevance to truth. So they're taking Torah, which is truth, and using it to what? To perpetrate sheker, falsehood. No, the moment the revolution started, those people weren't in yeshivas any longer.
No, I understand.
They weren't there.
But the fact that they were there initially without any concept of truth, and led them to such a false. I mean, it would seem consistent.
I'm not sure, whatever. I mean, there were people who learned, Jews had phenomenal minds. They couldn't get into the universities. Of course, in Tsarist times, the Jews weren't admitted into universities. So if you want to express your intellectualism, you weren't going to be a shoemaker. So you went where all the geniuses were in the yeshivas. So a person could be a Maharal Shabbos, and he studied Gemara, and he was involved. But did he believe in anything? He believed in nothing.
What Maharal is saying is that process is super destructive.
Because over there, the truth is irrelevant. It's irrelevant, the truth, to that person. All it is their fallacy in my intellectualism. That's all it is. According to our understanding of the text, whether it's correct or not, right? Because we're not looking for what it's saying. Kasher odem margalas b'sheker kamo shu dover azeh shu yodea mechavin lo sheker kol masim nimshoch machar sheker umeshakru b'masim gam ken ki hu hurgal hasheker al svoso. He's conditioned himself that he speaks falsehood. It's very interesting. If a person's truly, we have enough of a problem with ego. Ego is not a simple thing. Let's say a person, he is seeking truth. But simultaneously, and you enter into a dialogue with another person. Factually, after everything's said, you want to be right. Right? Because that's your ego. You want to be right. So let's say you feel, in your understanding, there is a slight fallacy in the logic. Are you going to reveal it to the other person? You're not going to reveal it. Somehow, you're going to suppress it. Not consciously you know you're wrong. But even though you may see a fallacy in the logic, you're going to somehow suppress it because you don't want to recognize that your understanding is incorrect. Right? But at least in that case, the person theoretically seeking truth. What if a person not seeking truth? I'm not seeking falsehood, but I'm not seeking truth. Does the man even have a chance to come upon truth? Whatever I think is correct is correct. If it's, see, that's the difference. What's the person who really knows how to learn, a person doesn't know how to learn? Very often, people don't know how to learn. They read a word, right away it activates something in their mind. And somehow they try to fit into the text what they believe the text is saying, rather than the text being the basis for understanding what's being stated here. Right? People have preconceived ideas, and they approach it with their preconceived values and ideas. And therefore, as a result, whatever it may be. Yesterday, I gave a share at a certain office, and he happened to be a Sephardi. He learned in NYU, this boy. Whatever it is, he's an intern, one by Nathan Lowe. So it had to do with Hilchos Shabbos, it had to do with the Gemara, and everything he said was unbelievable. This kid was so twisted and so convoluted. He had a question immediately. His question was the answer. Rather than discerning between A and B, no. If this is that, therefore B is C and D, it's exactly the way he understands it. This one, I mean, he never developed his intellectual capacity in terms of how to understand it. But he's not looking. All he wants to do is do it what he believes is right is right. So if you don't have if he believes there's no answer to his question, the question is the answer. Is this guy, is he looking for truth? I mean, he's young. He's 23, 24 years old. He's a kid. He's immature. But still, the whole approach, he was never taught, what are we looking for? You're looking to be right. If you look to be right, then you'll always find a way to be right. And that's so a person at least is looking for truth. Even though you look for truth, you don't always find truth. But at least we're looking for truth. What about, we're never looking for truth. The whole issue is the intellectual process. If we come upon it, fine. If we don't, we don't. It's all sharpening the mind. Does the person have a chance to come upon truth? Even when you're looking for truth, it's hard enough to come upon truth.
How do you define looking for truth? You're open to all the possibilities that
No, which means you're being as objective as possible, despite the cost factor of being shown that you're wrong.
Right, so there's always a possibility that you're wrong.
You're open to criticism. Right? You need humility for that also. It's not simple to admit that you're wrong. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Wow. That's why you go to certain communities. People have phenomenal minds. They enjoy learning, but they're not really fully observant. Fully observant. So that person, if you truly, there's an inconsistency here. If you learn, and this, so what are you looking into learning? Is it the truth in what the Torah is saying? If you're looking for truth, then you'd live a different type of life. The answer is you enjoy it. So if the process is this or that, it's all the same thing to him. You know, as long as it somehow resonates within his intellectualism, that's sufficient. More than that, he doesn't need more than that. There's an expression, I guess, the Violzetta Mile. I spent time in Englewood, in Teaneck, different communities. People come over to me, they say, and right away they wanted to show me how much they know. Right away, one person speaks to me about, on a Kabbalistic level, this and that and this, and I say, but he's a guy in shul, he talks in the middle, in places he shouldn't speak. And he does certain things. I see right away he's not, there's a total inconsistency. He enjoys it. He enjoys this type of intellectualism, the mystical aspect of Yiddishkeit. Okay? Is it because it's the truth? Because you want to do God's truth? It has nothing to do with doing God's truth. If you want to do God's truth, do something more simple. It doesn't have to be at this advanced level.
What is the difference between popular at No Israel hotels or these type of issues and popular at because I noticed over the years, I know you obviously have a bias towards
A bias? You have something which is a grade A, grade B, and grade C. Is that called a bias because you favor grade A?
I'm sure they're
Has nothing to do with how much. It has nothing to do with how much you know. Has nothing to do with how much you know. It's a different level of internalization of the material. It has nothing to do with how much you know, or that you could say understand the Rambam better than somebody else. It has nothing to do with that. It's how it's internalized and integrated in your life. It's a different flavor.
How many No Israel or those yeshivas, how many corporate rabbis are they producing?
Today more than ever. Today more than ever. At one time, it's because
I see most of the corporate rabbis are white.
not today so much. Today it's less and less.
Right.
Not because YU is not putting out people, is because the world has changed and the communities are more open to a person who's qualified. There's no bias. It's I'll only take that person and not that person. One time they wouldn't even consider taking a person from what we call those years they didn't use the word black hat, because in those years a rabbi would have to compromise on certain things to be a rabbi in the shul, whether it was the mechitza, whether it was a microphone. Today a rabbi in Orthodox shul doesn't have to compromise. At one time rabbis had to compromise. So the only rabbis who compromised were YU rabbis, because that was a directive not from Rabbi Soloveitchik, that was a directive from Belkin. Belkin was dictated YU's policy. It had nothing to do with Rabbi Soloveitchik. No mechitza, microphone, this and that. Okay? So therefore, anybody who came from a regular other yeshiva, they would never consider going to that kind of shul. Without a mechitza with a microphone, they wouldn't go there, because the standard was set. When Rabbi Aaron Kotler came to the United States, many Orthodox shuls had microphones, and he saw where it was going. Then unless we set the standard, it's just a question of time before it's going to disappear. It's all going to turn conservative. That's where it's headed. So he says we have to actually set the standard not to be violated under any circumstance. So from that point going forward, no person who came from a yeshiva would accept that kind of pulpit. Before that, there were Torah Vodas graduates who were in such pulpits with microphones or with on Shabbos. Those days there was no such thing as a special microphone. No, not 30. We're talking about 60, 65 years ago. 65 years ago, 70 years ago in the United States. Many Orthodox shuls out of town, out of town shuls had microphones. Mechitza, Orthodox shul. Mechitza was 36 inches. It had 36-inch mechitza. That's what it was. 40-inch mechitza. I mean, very, very weak. But they took it. You know, for whatever. It was more than a job. You know, it was also because if not, where would these people go? You know, better you should be there than someone else should be there.